Hi, this is Mrs. Merrill. Today we're going to be talking about Learning Target 5.2 and Learning Target 5.3. We're going to be looking at multi-step equations which have variables on both sides. We're also going to be looking at how you determine if an equation has no solution, one solution, or infinitely many solutions. To begin, let's take a look at the steps that we're going to be using for solving equations with variables on both sides. So first, we're going to simplify each side of the equation separately by using the distributive property and combining any like terms. In other words, we're going to look at the left side of the equal sign and do our distributive and combining on that side. Then we're going to look at the right-hand side of the equal sign, the expression that is there, and we're going to use distributive property and combining like terms. After we get that done, then we're going to use our inverse operations to isolate the variable of the equation. Remember, we're going to add or subtract first, and then we're going to undo the multiplication or division. Let's take a look at the equation 5x plus 3 equals 2x plus 15. Now when I look at it, I'm looking at the left-hand side first, 5x plus 3. Well, there's nothing I can combine there. There's no distributive property. I can't combine like terms. Then I glance at the right-hand side, the 2x plus 15. Well, they're not like terms. One's in terms of x and the other's just a number. And there's no distributive. So then I go to the second step, which is to use inverse operations to move and isolate the variable x. So the first step you see there is I am going to undo the 2x on the right hand side. So to undo that, I am going to subtract 2x from both sides. Now when I do that, notice that cancels out and all that's left on the right is 15. On the left, I take the 5x minus the 2x, which gives me 3x. Then I still have the plus 3 there, equals 15. I want to, remember, I am trying to isolate for the x. I want x by itself. So there's an added 3 onto that left-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. Remember, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other. So I'm subtracting 3 from both sides. When I subtract 3 on the left, that disappears. Positive 3 minus 3 gives me a net result of 0, so that's gone. So I just have 3x left then on the left, and then I do the math on the right. 15 minus 3 gives me 12. Now then I have 3x equals 12, and I want to get rid of that times on 3. So the inverse operations tell me to divide by 3 to get rid of a times on 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, which gives me 1x or x on the left, and 12 divided by 3 gives me 4. Remember then we do our check by plugging in our answer into the variable in the equation and see if both sides come out to be equal. In this case, when I plug in my answer of 4 for x, I see that both sides of the equation come out to be 23. Now, let's take a look at an example where we have distributive property on one of the sides of the equal sign here on the right. So my original equation is x minus 4 minus 2 equals 8 minus the quantity 9 plus x. Well, my rules say do the distributive and the combining like terms separately on each side of the equal sign. So on the left, I can combine my two numbers. See, I have negative 4 minus 2. Those are like terms, so I combine those and I get negative 6. So then on the left, I have x minus 6. And then on the right-hand side, I've got to do my distributive property. Remember, a negative outside the parentheses means that is a negative 1. So we are multiplying everything inside the parentheses by a negative 1. So negative 1 times 9 gives me the negative 9 that you see on step 2. And negative 1 times a positive x gives me the negative x that you see. Now I can once again combine like terms, CLT. And I have 8 minus the 9, which gives me negative 1. Now I have used distributive property and I've combined like terms on both sides of the equal sign. Now I am going to begin using my inverse operations. Remember, we add, subtract first, then multiply and divide last. So I am adding the x to both sides. Notice I am wanting to get rid of the x. There's a negative x sitting there on the right. I want to get rid of that. So the inverse operation to a negative x would be a positive x. So I'm adding x to both sides. On the left, that gives me 2x minus 6 equals, and then on the right, negative 1, because negative x plus x is 0, and that is gone. Now then, you'll notice the next thing I am going to do is I'm going to add 6 to both sides. Remember, I'm trying to get the x by itself there on the left. So I'm adding 6 to both sides, the opposite of that negative 6. To get rid of the negative 6 or the minus 6, I want to add 6. That gives me a net result there of 0. So I have 2x on the left equals, and then we have to do the math, negative 1 plus 6, which is 5. And then my last step is I've got to get rid of that times on 2. See, that's 2x equals 5. That's the times on 2. The inverse operation tells me to divide by 2. So when I divide 2 divided by 2, I get 1, which is just, 1x or x, and then I get 5 halves. I can leave my answer as an improper fraction, or I could write it as a mixed fraction, or even as a decimal, depending upon what the directions ask me to do. All right, let's take a look at another one. Here is the equation, negative 3x minus x equals negative 2x plus 7 minus 2x. All right, well, there's no distributive, so I am going to combine like terms on both sides of the equal sign. So look at the left-hand side first, and let's combine those. Negative 3x minus x. That gives me a negative 4x. Now on the right-hand side, I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have a negative 2x and another negative 2x. When I combine those, I get negative 4x, and then what is left there is the plus 7. Now I am going to add the 4x to both sides. I'm going to try to get rid of the negative 4x, so I'm going to subtract the 4x from both sides. When I do that, though, I get 0 on the left. Negative 4x plus 4x is 0. So then I get 0 on the left, but look, I get 7 on the right. Is that true? Does 0 equal 7? Of course not. So when the variable cancels out and you get some mathematical falsehood like we do here 0 does not equal 7, then our answer is no solution. 0 is never equal to 7, and that means then that there is no answer, there is no value for x that would make this work. So the answer is no solution. Now let's take a look at this next example where the opposite is going to occur. Notice I'm doing my distributive first. We have 3 times the quantity 2x minus 5 equals 6x minus 15. So using my rules, I would do my distributive first. Remember, I'm looking at the left-hand side and using distributive and combining like terms. Then I do the same for the right-hand side. Try to use distributive and combine like terms. So let's do our distributive on the left. 3 times 2x gives me 6x, and 3 times negative 5 gives me negative 15. All right, there is nothing to distribute on the right, and I can not combine like terms on the right. 6x minus 15, those are not like terms. All right, so now I am going to subtract 6x from both sides. Remember, I am undoing the operation. I am undoing the positive 6x by doing the inverse operation, which would be to minus 6x. When I do that, though, what is 6x minus 6x? Well, that's 0. So on the left-hand side, I get negative 15 is all that's left. But look what happens on the right. All that's left there, negative 15. Does negative 15 equal negative 15? Of course it does. So what that means for us then is that when the variable disappears and you get a mathematical true statement, negative 15 does equal negative 15, then your answer is all real numbers. What that means is that you can plug in any number for x and it will make this a true mathematical equation. Now to summarize, let's take a look at what we do when we solve multi-step equations. So the first thing, we treat the left hand separately and we look for our distributive property and try to combine all like terms. Then we look at the right side separately, right side meaning the right hand side of the equal sign. And we again try to do any distributive property and combining like terms that exist there. Once we do that, then we use our inverse operations to move the variable to one side of the equation. And remember, that's our whole goal. We're trying to isolate for the variable. To do that, we solve the remaining equation by using inverse operations. We add or subtract first, and then we multiply or divide last. Thank you very much for listening to today's lesson.